Remember that age-old saying that behind every great man is a great woman? You know, comedian Jim Carrey modified that. I think it's so true. He modified it to say, behind every great man is a great woman rolling her eyes. So true. On a more serious note, Proverbs 31:12 had this to say, "She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life." Maybe because Sadie Hunt Broyhill loved music and studied music at the university, she might prefer the old Tammy Wynette song, "Stand by Your Man." Now behind me is Timbertops, the beautiful home of the Broyhill family here on the edge of the gorge in Mayview. Sadie was the epitome of the woman behind the scenes who had the intelligence, wit, charm, faith, and the desire to help propel her man, Ed Broyhill, to greatness. She became the matriarch of one of the most benevolent and philanthropic families in America. But let's back up to the beginning. Sadie was born in July 13th, 1899 to Hartley Hunt and Nellie Stone Hunt in Genesee, Pennsylvania. She was the eldest of 3 daughters. Hartley Hunt was a lumberman for most of his life, and when Sadie was 5 years old, he relocated the family to New Hudson, New York. It was in New York that Sadie received much of her early education. In 1913, when Hartley Hunt accepted an opportunity to continue his work in the timber business with Graydon Lumber in rural western North Carolina, Sadie's world was turned upside down. Her mother, independent-minded Nellie Stone Hunt, refused to leave New York. Nevertheless, Hartley took Sadie and Doris with him, leaving Sister Alice with her mother, and the 3 began a new life together in Graydon, North Carolina. As the eldest daughter, Sadie felt the most pain in the transition from New York to the wilds of western North Carolina. She was just 13 years old, homesick and lonely, and now without her mother. Characteristic of the always resilient Sadie, in time, she embraced the rural countryside and developed many new friendships. You know, the fortune of our town, Blowing Rock, was forever changed in 1914 when Hartley Hunt enrolled his 15-year-old daughter in Appalachian Training School in Boone. There she excelled in music, focusing on piano and voice. It was there, of course, that she met handsome Ed Broyhill. And you know, if it wasn't love at first sight for the more sophisticated Sadie, the persistent Ed eventually won her over, as reflected in this homemade Valentine Sadie sent to Ed. They were married in Lenore in 1921 at the Baptist Church, and they honeymooned at Craggy Gardens way above Asheville on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Ed and his older brother Tom went on to establish the Lenore Furniture Company, which became the hugely successful Broyhill Furniture Industries. Sadie and Ed raised 4 children, Aline, Paul, James, and Betty, all of whom possessed the Broyhill drive and ambition, but also
a sense of obligation to the community, passed on by their mother and father. Sadie loved Blowing Rock, and she was involved in the equestrian life of the town. Together, hand in hand, Sadie and Ed Broyhill spent 5 months of the year in Mayview at their summer home, overlooking the beautiful Johns River Gorge. The superlatives used most often to describe Sadie included most generous. She was always giving of herself and her resources. Most energetic. She never seemed to tire. Best natured. She was always in great spirits. Most thoughtful. She was always doing something for other people, especially people in need. She loved meeting new people, and I think it can be truthfully said that she never met a stranger. She loved entertaining, and together Sadie and Ed hosted Bob Doughton, Dwight Eisenhower, Richard Nixon, Barry Goldwater, and many other dignitaries at their Blowing Rock home.
Okay, you know, throughout their lives together, Ed and Sadie Broyhill contributed to so many causes, it's almost impossible to recount them all. You know, of course, we know about Broyhill Lake, we know about the hospital, we know about, of course, their amazing gifts to nearby Appalachian State University, their gifts in this community, the horse show grounds from the Broyhill family. It goes on and on and on. Dozens of community development projects that are so important in enhancing and improving the quality of life here in our beautiful village of Blowing Rock and in dozens of other communities throughout the high country. Sadie herself was on the board of trustees at Appalachian State University for almost a decade, and she was so loved there and appreciated, they named 2 buildings in her honor. Today, the Broyhill Family Foundation, that is headed up by grandson Hunt Broyhill, is continuing that legacy of giving to Blowing Rock and giving to communities and projects throughout the area. It's amazing what has been done. You know, Sadie Hunt Broyhill was a beautiful lady, a kind lady, a loving lady, a lady that never knew a stranger, and we will always remember her with the utmost affection.